What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more ABC and the 1982 album The Lexicon of Love, produced by Trevor Horn. Once again, major shout out to Kim as well as to Joseph and others who've been commenting on this album so far. And the next track is Valentine's Day. It's a very specific reference. Of course, we are currently several months away from Valentine's Day, but it is, in the modern era, a lover's holiday, a holiday for indicating your affection and romantic feelings towards someone, whether you are already involved with them or whether it's more hypothetical or a prospective love that might happen maybe even as a result of the declaration of affection. So yeah, I don't quite know what to make of it. Of course, it could be a temporal setting, it could be a narrative that takes place on Valentine's Day, it could be a reflection on the cultural trappings and how they may or may not relate to the nuanced and complicated nature of human love, which, given the album title, feels like that might be a particularly relevant perspective. Either way, I'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is ABC, the track is Valentine's Day, and it's from the 1982 album The Lexicon of Love.
Don't call on Valentine's Day, and Santa Claus don't come on a Christmas Day. That umbrella won't work on a rainy day. Don't ask me, I already know. Tragedies, not relief. The choice is yours, sure, saint or thief. Don't ask me, I already know. Your cake in little slices, kept your eye on rising prices, wound up winning movie prizes. I'm sure you'd like to think you know what life is. Find destiny through magazines, licking and zipping, offers and queens, from here to eternity without in-betweens. Ask me, I already know. Your heart on parade and your heart on parole. I hope you find a sucker to buy that mixed dough. School for scandal, guess who's enrolled? So ask me, I already know. When they find you beached on the barrier, postman don't call on Valentine's Day.
bass flourish at the end. That's crazy. Like lyrically, there's a lot of clever turns of phrase. I'm not sure how it all stitches together, but certainly there's a sense of the narrator is indicating sometimes things don't work out the way you want. Sometimes they don't happen the way they should, and you may not know everything you think you know, and you may not be perceiving. Now, he does seem to be indicating that you can ask him anything. No, so I don't know if there's irony there, or if he really is suggesting like he has a wiser perception than the people he's addressing. But yeah, it sounds like he's talking about life not doing what you would want, or getting beached on the barrier reef, and Santa not bringing you presents on Christmas Day, and the postman not giving you any Valentines on Valentine's Day, and that for all your best intentions and for the best laid plans of mice and men, sometimes reality is harsh. Sometimes you don't get what you want. Sometimes you don't get what you expect, and life is not forthcoming in that way. So again, it's maybe less directly related to love specifically, or at least explicitly, than I thought in advance of the title. But it still feels like there's something there. The idea that, love doesn't just play out the way stories or holidays or common conventions would have you think. And, if you want to know how things really are, ask the narrator. Either way, it's, again, like, it has a synth pop keyboard sound, but with a real, like, almost disco funk, certainly funk, and something about the beat. Again, it gave me a bit of a disco funk feel. Obviously there's a lot of those chimes or bells and flourishes, also some really interesting keyboard lines, like with a lot of intensity, a bit forte. But I especially like the way it went from a full sound to a more stripped down sound, and back and forth. There was like real balance between the denser part of the tunes and the more stripped down parts, and there was a lot of energy and like percussive flourish to it, even as it went back and forth between the more full sections of the track and the more stripped down sections. So again, really cool production, and again, somewhere between like 80s synth pop and a disco funk type of sound, even with some soulful elements. So yeah, a nice blend of stylings on this one, which feels like I've said that about basically every track so far. So yeah, I do especially enjoy the vocals. He put a lot of charisma and a lot of eccentricity into some of the line deliveries, and given that it sounds like he's telling it how it is, and he's explaining to people who might be naive or thinking about things in a more traditional or expected way, it feels like there's a bit of an expression of the character of the narrator in the way the vocals are delivered, with a lot of energy and, again, like eccentric charisma. So yeah, I especially enjoyed the vocal performance on this one. Let me know what you think. Shout out to Kim once again for this, and I'm excited we're now going through it, because again, it started a long time ago, but it's clear that a lot of folks have many things to say about the album. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Peace.